Okay, in this video, we are going to set up the form a little better. We're going to integrate into our site. Before we do that, let's just look at a couple other things here. Well, let's go to email messages, and you want to just set up the email messages that you want to have in your autoresponder. So you have your subject and your message, and then down here when it's going to go out. Okay, so let's just set up a couple here so that we can test. Okay, so we'll just put down here, thank you for subscribing. And then this is the tag for the name, as you see up here. So you can use it in the subject line and within the emails. Then you put your message down here. You can add media to this using WordPress as a media manager. You can also do full HTML if you hit text here. And when you're in the visual, you can click on that and bring up the whole suite of tools that you can use within the WordPress editor. So just put whatever message you want in here. Okay, so I have name, download your gift below. And then you would just fill out the rest as you like. Okay, so you have a choice here of either sending it so many days after registration, or you can send it on a certain date. So we are going to be sending the first one 0 days after. So that'll send it immediately, whether you want it in HTML format or plain text. We want it in HTML. And then you can get an attachment here from your computer if you want to attach something. Okay, so let's add the message. Okay, and it's now added the message into our saved messages, which you'll see down here below. Here we are. So these are our existing messages. And then you just keep up like that. You just put your whole autoresponder series in here. Now let's just talk about this other one here. You can send it on a certain date. Now remember that earlier I showed you that the settings for so many emails being sent out during an immediate newsletter won't get throttled. And if you're using shared hosting, that's going to be a bit of a problem. But you can overcome this by creating a message in here and then just setting the date for the day you're on, or maybe the next day might be better. Okay, and then when somebody comes to your site on that day, it'll send out this message to everybody. Okay, so that's the way around that. Okay, so now we've got our autoresponder messages set up for our mailing list. And then the next thing here is send newsletter. I just want to just show you this quickly. This is what they were talking about in immediate newsletter. Now, if you have under about 500 subscribers or not very many, you could just go ahead and use this and not have to worry about the throttling. If you get more than that though, and you haven't opted for the pro version, then you should use the method I just showed you. But this is basically the same thing. You put in your subject, your content here, and then you just send the newsletter. So very simple. Okay, so at this point, this whole thing is set up. Now let's go over fixing our form a little bit. There's some ways you can fix up your form that are quite easy. You can do a search on Google for a free web form template. You can look around here until you find one you like and just pop your code into it. Another thing you can do is use a web editor like Composer or whatever you like to use to set up your web form. And I'm going to give you a template that you can use. So I've included this template for you, and if you open it with your web editor, you can change it here. So what you want to do is, of course, change the text here, and then take your own form code and go into source here, and then you want to change the form code that we have in here, which comes right after all of this. So right after subscribe to our newsletter, you'll see form, and then you'll roll down until you see script. So all of that comes out, and you just put your own form code right in there that you get from your site. And then once you've done that, you just save this. And then what you do is you're going to just copy the code into your website. Okay, so what we want to do is open this sales page here that I'm going to put this on, and I'll open it in the same editor. Do File, Open File. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's go back to this one, go into Source, okay, and then I'm going to grab all this stuff here, right down to there, copy it. Then we're going to this one, go into Source, okay, and then we want to go down to where we see, okay, this is the body tag, so the head is right here. Okay, so we're going to put it right above that. Now, let's go to our site and decide where we want that form. I'm going to put the form right here. So what we do is well, let's go get the code first. So back to the code I gave you, source. Now, what we're going to do is take everything after the body tag. So right there, and everything before the body tag right there. Copy. And we're going to go back to the site we want to implement this on. Now, right here, let's click center. Okay, now we're going to do insert HTML, paste, and insert. Okay, so there we are. Our web form is in here. Now, let's go test this out. We already have this integrated now. All we need to do is put our name and email in there, and we should be directed to Google, and our information should be in our mailing list. So let's go and have a look. So let's bring this up in our web browser. Okay, let's put in our name, put an email address in here. Now, when we hit register, this should take us off to Google. So let's do that. Get this subscribed, and it took us right to Google. Okay, so you can see now that we have the whole thing integrated. Now, let's go have a look in our autoresponder, and let's go to mailing list. Okay, so here's that record in our mailing list. You can edit the subscriber over here, delete them. So if you're going to edit, okay, and then you see the information here. So you can change this in here if you like. And then delete it, of course, does just that. Okay, and then if we looked in our raw email log, we would see it there. Let's go check out our email. And we should have, and there it is, listed min. Thank you for subscribing, and picked up the first name. Down in your gift below, and then our unsubscribe link is right there. Okay, so as you can see, everything worked, and they would just proceed through the autoresponder sequence. Now, just one thing I failed to mention earlier is that when you're in general settings, so settings general, you need to make sure that you set your time zone so that your emails sync properly. So you just come down to where it says time zone and pick your closest city, or use the GMT plus or minus times. Okay, so at the end of the day, you should see UTC time here, and then you see your local time here. This is important that you do this, or emails might not get sent out. But this does cause one problem. Let me just show you here. Let's first go to our mailing list, and we see that this person is active and that they've been sent one email. But if we look in the raw email log, and this is on the 20th, if we look in the raw email log, it's taken us to the 21st because it's using GMT time. So you need to remember when you come in here to select the proper day in your time. And that's why I have this here, because I sent one first and it didn't work. And that was because the time zone wasn't set properly. So that's why I have 2 in here. All right, so just make sure you do that. Now, the last thing I want to go over is contact form 7. Remember, let's just go back into settings here. And then you see underneath the code, you see integrate in contact form 7. And you can also use Ninja form. And that doesn't work in the free version. If I click on this, it just goes to a dead page. Okay, so let's contact form 7. And you have here a checkbox that will be checked by default if you click this, but you don't want to do that. You want to have them doing it because that's the new email rules. Okay, so really all you have to do is put this short code in, and you can change the description on it, but into your contact form 7. So let's go to settings, and let's go to contact and contact forms, and then let's edit this one. Okay, and then what we want to do is just before submit here, so let's paste that in here and save. Okay, so that is how we integrate our mailing list with contact form 7. So now if we were to preview this, okay, so this is the short code that you would use to put it on your site. So let's just put this on a page and have a look at it. So I'm going to copy it, and I'll just go to the page here, and we'll edit it, and I'm just going to drop it in there. I'll just drop that short code right here. Let's update. I could have just previewed here too, but we'll just update it. So if somebody does come to your site, you can always get them to opt in by putting a form on there if they should happen to stumble upon it. Okay, so here we are. Subscribe to our mailing list and send. Okay, so if they click on this, when they send the message, they're going to get subscribed. All right, now you have everything set up for a single mailing list. However, if you want more mailing lists, all you have to do is go get the Pro version here. It's very reasonably priced, and then you can have as many mailing lists as you like.